think that is good. This is gonna be strange. Alright, hello, welcome. For those of you who are watching offline, today we are going to be working on some crows. Hi, sorry I'm late. I had to set up the stream on my laptop because I'm using my iPhone as the camera and I can't connect it to my desktop for whatever reason. So, instead, we are using that. It took me a little bit to set it up and I had to set up a light. It was something. Like I've got a fun setup. So, yeah. Gonna work on some crows today. Specifically, we're sewing their butts. I know, this is a very exciting venture. So, I've got my fabric. I've got my crows. I've got 4 with me today. That was the other thing that was tripping me up. I needed to sew some more bean pouches, and I needed to do that real quick. So we got some bean pouches. So put most of the crows over here. I think I did a silly. I think I forgot to grab pins. I'm gonna try placing. Thank you. Yeah, I'm very late. It took me so much longer to set up the stream than I thought it would. Yeah, that lighting's better. Yes, so today, crows. Gonna work on the crows. My friend gave me this mat, hence why it's very cute. She is very good. They're very good at picking out cute things. Jeez, I am so unorganized. It took me so much longer to set up this stream on my on my laptop than I thought it would. I guess technically, yeah. I think. Yeah, I'd say it's definitely not the first time I've done like in-person stuff, but it definitely the first time for a stream. Hence why I knew how to set up recording with my MacBook, but I didn't have it set up for a stream, which is why it took me so long. I was doing some gardening, and then it was dinner time, and then I looked at the time, and I was like, dang, how did time fly so fast? Live hand. You've seen my hands before. If you watched my sketchbook, maybe I'll save those pouches for slightly bigger crows. These crows are a touch bit smaller than my other crows because they're silly. They're silly little guys. So, got our pouch. I think I have a little bit of fuzz up here. Yeah. Oh, where are you leaking? I don't want glass beads all over my desk. That would be a disaster. I don't know exactly where he's leaking, so we'll just... Sorry, I'm doing that off screen. Let me move over slightly. Stuffing. So each crow is weighted. That is very important to me. Each crow has weight. So, oh. Don't want his guts falling out. Eesh. To believe one day these hands will know around the world. I mean, I did go to Europe one time, so if that's what you mean, sure. Though I'm not sure if that's quite what you mean. Just lean him against that for a second. So I need to cut out. Each crow has a unique butt. So this is the one portion of the pattern that I cannot have pre-cut. I just, need to have. I need to put something in front of the screen, because watching the live reaction, live chat, the chat itself is fine. Watching how many viewers are on the stream is actually kind of stressful, so we're gonna put something in front of that so I don't stare at it. No need to stare at that. Okay, so I think that should be good for the butt, so we can just need to stop working away from the camera. Why is that the stressful bit? Just looking at how many people are not watching. I just don't like looking at it, so I usually don't. But I have the stream pulled up on my desktop, and the stream actually being done from my laptop. This setup is kind of weird. I will not deny. I just don't like looking how it goes back and forth. Sir, why are you not plugged in? There we go. Did not need my laptop dying on me. That was not needed. So we're gonna use one of my favorite stitches for this. It's called the ladder stitch, and I like it because it's invisible and it's also pretty quick to put down. So you see me using this bright white stitch, and you're like, oh, thread, and you're like, Alyssa, why are you using such a bright thread? That seems like the worst thread you possibly could have chosen for the crow. And to that I say, it does not matter, because I am using a stitch that doesn't show it. My laptop does hold a charge. It is on the older side. I got it for almost 5 years ago now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, he is on the older side, but he's still good. I just haven't charged him recently, so he just didn't have a lot of power. Let me move this up a bit so you can see what I'm doing a bit better. Usually I hold this a little closer to myself, which is not helpful considering where I'm putting the camera. Anyway, how's your guys' day been? My day has been somewhat of a day. My part-time job, they didn't schedule me for the correct time. So I thought I had classes to teach on Thursday and Friday. And it turns out the classes I needed to teach were on Wednesday and Thursday. So here I was, about to get started on doing my little gardening thing, clearing out the garden beds, making, I don't know, just cleaning things up, getting it ready for the plants that I wanted to plant. And then my boss calls me and is like, hey, where are you? I'm like, huh? Where am I? I am at home because I'm not scheduled. And she's like, the class was supposed to start like right now. I made a mistake. You need to go in. And I was like, huh? So I had to go put the wheelbarrow back. and run off to my job because they did not schedule me correctly, and they had 15 kids waiting for me to teach them how to make slime. I was like, So that completely cut into my day and changed my entire plans. Hence why I was planning on prepping for this stream a lot earlier so I could, start on time. And that didn't end up happening because I was trying to do the gardening after work that I did not do before work. Of work that it wasn't supposed to happen. So, that was a time. I can just tell that these crows are going to be adorable. Oh, thank you. I should have grabbed one of the... Here's a conceptual... I don't do the stitches just because that takes too much time, but this is essentially what they look like. But, cloth form. I got more games, that should be fun, but in reality that means troubleshooting. Fair. It was a stressful day for me. I have drama club tomorrow and I'm so unbelievably stressed. You survived the day. I did survive the day, and you survived the day. Hopefully everyone's surviving the day. You should definitely have fun at drama club because I'm going out on a limb here and assuming that doing drama club is supposed to be fun. So I am yes, a little bit stressful because new people, new environment, but you'll have fun. I believe in you. I think I accidentally didn't sew up something on the micro glass pouch because I have a couple beads on my desk and I'm thinking the culprit is my rushed sewing. I would not be surprised if me rushing to sew up 2 bean pouches for the stream would have them leaking slightly. Hopefully that's not too big of an issue. I guess he'll just exist on my desk for a bit and we'll see if he's an actual issue. Hey, more time with your friends never hurts. This is definitely more of the monotonous task that I could have chosen for a stream, so I'll definitely be more interactive with talking, I'm pretty sure. Hey, and if we ever get tired of crows, the advantage of streaming from my laptop means I could display my iPad screen, I'm pretty sure. And I could show you one of the illustrations I've been working on. Do you know what kind of things they're going to be doing at the drama club? Like, are you guys prepping for a show? It's typically what you do at a drama show, right? Prepping for a show. Or drama club, prepping for shows. So once we get around the tail, I'll add a little bit more stuffing. Thankfully I have some up here, and I pulled some out, so I can add that back in. I kind of overstuffed them earlier because I was trying to see how big I could make the crows, because I made a mistake when making this batch of 8 crows. And usually I cut outside the white chalk line, so the fabric ends up being a little bit bigger than my pattern, which is good because I wanted a bigger crow. So I never adjusted the pattern. Because I was like, oh yeah, it's the perfect size. It's good. But it turns out if you cut inside the white lines, that makes a big enough difference where your crows are so much smaller than you would imagine. Maybe I could text my dad to bring me up a couple of the other finished crows so you can get a better idea of what I'm talking about on size differences of the crows. I don't think it'll be too big of an issue because they're not that much smaller, and it just makes it so cute. They're just so much cute. They're just... Listen, the reason why the crows are so good is because they are made by hand, which means they have a lot of variety. They all have their own special little quirks. Some are small, some are tall, some are fat. Some of them I accidentally didn't cover all of the darts, so then I have to sew back over them. Some of them I purposely add embroidery scars into. Those ones sell pretty well. What are you going to be doing with the crows after you finish? The plan is to make at least 42 of these guys and sell them at Comic-Con. So I'm going to be participating at Comic-Con in May. And one of my wares is crows. Because I've participated at my school's holiday sale before, and one of my biggest sellers were the crows. So I figured I had to bring them back. It would just be foolish not to. Okay, I think I'm at the point where I can add some extra the stuffing back into the tail. One of these days I need to figure out what kind of stuffing I can use that's not plastic, because I would like to craft market. Kinda. I haven't sold at a Comic-Con before, but I assume it's very similar to the holiday sale in which you have your wares, have prices for them. I think the main difference will be I will be accepting the payments instead of the school, because previously the school was accepting the payments because they were also using it as a fundraising opportunity for scholarships for future students, so they would take 30% of my profit. I guess I didn't have to pay for a table, so fair enough, I guess. 30% felt kind of high, but fair enough. But since I will be handling the payments, I think that will be the main difference. Feather stuffing, or like, I don't know, maybe I'll get sheep, or what was those rabbits called again? It's Angora. There we go. Angora rabbits, and just stuff it with that stuff. Wool stuffing was probably the original stuffing, because polyfill is kind of shaped like that. Small steps at a time, though. I made sure to choose glass microbeads instead of plastic microbeads, so at least there's that. We'll have to perhaps look into wool stuffing, see if anyone sells that, and that could replace the polyfill eventually. Then I would need to find a fabric, because Minky, I'm pretty sure, is a more plastic-based fabric. I would not be surprised if that was the case. Lots of fabrics are. So find a soft fabric that's I think Minky's supposed to like mimic fur? I don't know. It's just very soft. The microbeads are for weighting down the crow. So crows without the weighting, one, are very light. And two, they fall over because they're so light. So the microbeads serve dual purpose. One, I like the surprise that people get when they pick up a crow and they go, oh, it's heavy. Because one, it's just very nice to have that kind of surprise, to pick up a small object and then realize it's heavier than you originally thought. And then two, usually when people pick up something heavier, they subconsciously think it's worth more. So then I'm putting them at a like $30 I'm gonna sell the crows for. Like around there. Either $27 or $30. I'm still trying to decide. But one way to make people less like wary of the price is to make it feel worth it in their hands. And a small subtle way of doing that is making them weight it. Because if they feel heavier subconsciously, they're worth more. That's the logic anyway. I've definitely had my friends, at least one of them, who had like, when I was explaining that to the psychology of that to them, they're like, oh yeah, I actually did definitely think about that like a little bit in my head. I was like, good, excellent. My marketing is working. Yeah, I think I was selling them for like $20 before. Maybe that's why they sold so well. At the holiday sale, I was selling them for $25, and I've been like evaluating how much time it takes me to do each one, and yeah, I think I need to up it to like $30. Oh, I'm not hand sewing the entire thing, but yeah, there's some portions where I need to hand sew. Cool, it's took me about 20 minutes to sew on his butt. Excellent. No idea if that's quick or not, but it's a time. I didn't have a time before, so it's nice to have a time on how long it takes me to sew their butts onto their bodies. Also, fun thing about them being weighted is maybe after Comic-Con I'll continue making the crows. So if you guys want to order some just online, I could do a small batch order of that. Get rid of the microbeads. Okay. So, fun thing about them being weighted is I can do this. Aw, wait, he doesn't do it. Okay, some of them I can knock over and they stand back up on their own. He doesn't do that, but that's okay. I love him anyway. I love all the crows. Okay, vote time. Do you want to see me sew on another butt? Or should I add the eyes so you can get an idea of what a finished crow looks like? Or at least an almost finished crow. I still need to add the feet. But eyes or butt? Eyes? Alright, sounds good. Let's see if my water tastes stale. A little bit, but not the worst it could have been. Okay. So I have these. These are just felt. So grab 2 of these. This might be a bit big for his face. Oh no, it's actually perfect. Okay, we're good. Did you hear me drinking the water? Okay. The fun thing is, when you look at him from the back, he kind of looks weird. Fair enough. Alright, because we don't have pins, I'm just gonna have to hold that in place. Now, we can either have him looking to the side, or we can do a classic middle. I've been doing a lot of classic middle though, so we could do have him look to the side a bit. Do you have any with angry eyes? No, I do not. I should add angry eyes. That would be really funny, actually. Thank you for the idea. I am totally stealing that. I'm thinking if I have time, I might also create a quilted crow, because I have a whole bunch of extra fabric from a quilt I made. So I could make a crow that's quilted. You know, anytime I was in a sewing class, they were always like, put a knot at the end of your, dang, I unthreaded my needle. Put a knot at the end of your thread and then sew into your fabric. And I was like, why would I do that? That sounds really difficult. What if I just sew into my fabric and make a knot on the fabric? And I think that's more effective, quicker, and easier. So we're gonna continue doing that. Are you looking at my desk? Or, yeah, I do a decent amount of handcrafts. What was I specifically doing? Oh, sewing, yeah. Oh, I could show you the other plushie I made. Here, like, raise my camera up a bit. I didn't create the pattern for this one. This one I found a free pattern online. But I made up the wings, and I added the embroidery, and I changed up the tail. Or changed up the ears so they were a bit more pointy and fluffy. Then I also added some fluff to his chest, but Yeah, I made this for my senior thesis to promote one of my books. One of the books I was making for it. If you want, I could grab that book later though, because that would require me to go to my bedroom. But yeah, I could show you the picture book that I made for my senior thesis. I'm quite happy with how it turned out. I don't think you guys quite realize how insane I was in college. I'm actually kind of baffled myself on how I did it all, and I want the energy back. I want it back. I don't know where it went, but I want it back, and I haven't quite gathered it yet. So, college Alyssa was crazy because I was really interested in a lot of the classes that they had to offer, and it costs the same to take 6 classes as it would to take 4. So why wouldn't I take extra classes? And the semester requirement to graduate was 5, and my goal was to take 6. So practically every semester, I would do my best to take 6 classes. So I had like 18 credits 18 credits worth of classes. And I was also updating Bean Small World. And senior year specifically, I was also making YouTube videos. I got work with a client to make them a picture book. And then I was also working on my own picture book for my senior thesis. I was also like working out pretty consistently. I worked out 2 to 3 times a week. I don't know what, and I was like making all of my food. I was like home cooking all of my food. I don't know what I was on, but I want it back. Give it back to me. Junior year was just a, that one was what was I saying? Junior year was an outlier with my body's handling of stress. I don't care that I had stress hives for like 8 months. It's fine. I was thriving. I think I baffled my teachers a little bit, or at least made them really happy with me. I don't know. I was having a good time. If it didn't cost so much money, it would have been nice to continue being in college for a little bit longer, but I kind of needed to go. That thing's expensive. You take script writing commissions? I mean, I don't think I've written specifically a script before, but I definitely write a good amount of stories. So I don't know what exactly would you be looking for? I majored in illustration, and then I just took a bunch of random classes from a whole bunch of different. I accidentally got a minor because I was taking enough classes that I earned the minor without really aiming for it. So then I just declared a digital media production minor, which is essentially just like video making and concept art. But my main thing was illustration. It was funny. Anytime I was touring an art college, they would like show all of the other majors first. And they'd be like, "Oh yeah, here's the architecture room. Here's where we do the I don't graphic design, product making. And I was like, none of this is really clicking. And then we went to the illustration floor, and every time I was like, this is where I want to be. This is what I want to do. Oh. So I guess that really just cemented the major that I wanted to do, was just now I feel like I could go to the college because I feel like I actually belong on that floor. Like an interview script. Are you talking about like talking like I guess what kind of interview are you thinking? I don't know if that would be I mean, I'm good at coming up with questions. I have a lot of questions about a lot of different things. Guess you just have to tell me what kind of information you're looking for, and then what kind of questions you would. I guess it depends on what kind of interview you're thinking, because if it's something that I'm not like well knowledged in, I don't think I could make a good interview script because I wouldn't know what questions to ask to better understand the thing you're talking about. Well, I guess maybe, I don't know, I would have to at least do a little exploration in the thing that you're interviewing for, else I wouldn't know what kind of questions would need to be asked. Imagine if someone held a mirror up to you and asked, would you mind telling me about Bean? Oh, yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, that would be easy to create an interview for, or at least questions to be like, what is Bean? What is his goals? What is Bean's favorite food? When is Bean's birthday? He is pretty great. I've been slowly trying to work on making another update for him for that comic because I've been neglecting it severely and I feel so bad. But I have a couple updates thumbnailed out and lined. So I would need to color it. I have made a Bean plush. I could show you. He's on the printer. I am so tangled up in wires right now. Okay. He's also weighed it because how else was I supposed to get him to stand on his own? I did some needle felt on the cheeks. Because I want it like a really... And then this is felt that I used embroidery thread to help hold in place and some armature wire. So that stands up. And this has felt on the inside. I was thinking about doing a giveaway for it, but I never really set it up. And it's been so long, and now I've gotten kind of attached to that one, so maybe I need to make a new one that's a bit smaller, because I still have the fabric for it, and I do have some armature wire. So I could definitely make another one, because I'm kind of attached to the big one. It's what happens. You have him for so long and then you get emotionally attached to them. Yeah, so I made that a while ago actually. Yeah. Once Comic Con's done, I should make a smaller one for a giveaway. Or extremely limited edition uh, bid. I don't know. I just love him so much. I could make a live action Bean comic. I could. I'd probably have to redraw his expressions because he is a very expressive guy. So I don't know if it would work. I'd probably need to make something a little bit smaller where I could change the expressions, but I could. I could make a live action Bean comic. You know, it has been such a long day. Or stop motion. Mayhaps. Stop motion is a bit of work, though. Not that I'm scared of work, just something to be aware of. We're just gonna continue work on. I realized I was holding that closer to my chest and not under the camera. That is not the goal. I think I moved this up a little bit. I don't know. How did I have this before? It was better before. You can change. I could change the expression in the program. Did you go through the fabric? I don't know if you did. Did I just like completely skip the black fabric somehow? I don't know. Maybe I'm just making the stitches so tiny that I can't see them. It might be the latter. Work has been pretty good on Don't Look. The next step is creating the backgrounds. I made a whole list. Oh, it's so exciting having my camera on my desk because I can just pull things down and show you guys things. Here's my animation timeline. So this week I'm going to be working on backgrounds prep and making some of the images, and I would finish the images next week and animate out the performance mode scenes because I used performance mode to make my animatic a bit quicker, but I need to go back and animate that. And then 15 seconds from any other place. Animate 45 seconds, mess with sounds, finish animation, export this video, and then I need to fix the frames so that there's only one per frame per, and then I export those to Illustrator, vectorize those so I can color them quickly, color all the frames in 1 week, and then retime everything in After Effects and play around with sounds, and then also a little bit of animation in After Effects. And then I also want to figure out the compositing. Compositing! That's a new thing I need to learn, but ideally, I want to post this around May 16th, which is kind of far away, but also kind of close. I don't know. Time creeps closer. Yeah, I do this a lot with stuff. I just write a list of things I want to do. Because I can't possibly keep this all in my brain. That sounds insane. You know what's upsetting? I have a unique I have a unique desktop, like the literal desk. That's upsetting because I think it's a great thing, but IKEA does not sell glass tops anymore. So I have something of a rare thing because IKEA said glass is too difficult, no longer. And I think that's sad. Because I think it's a genuinely very high quality desktop. I wish more people were able to have the glass. Mine has hexagons on it. Absolutely can't wait to see. I mean, definitely can wait and will wait, but best bet my overall happiness will go up in a few percentages when I see that notification. I am so glad you're excited about the project. I'm pretty excited about it too. It's been a while since I've done I did that animation for animating one of my Minecraft experiences with my partner. But that was like the last time I've done like a full-on animation. And this time I wanted to like play around to see if I could use some of the other art programs I have to make the process quicker. And I also want to try out compositing. Supposedly, compositing is where you take like a good base visual and then just add that extra little spice that makes it tasty. Hexagons are the bestigons. Yes, exactly. Such a good shape. Like, even my glasses are that shape. It's a good shape. What are all your art programs? I made a list. Okay, so for this specific animation, using note cards with Sharpies, I did the storyboard physically. So, stuff like this. And then I'm going to be using Procreate Dreams for the animatic and the lining. And then I'll either use Procreate or Photoshop to make the backgrounds. And then Illustrator, I'm going to be using that to vectorize all of the images to color them quickly. And then After Effects to do the compositing and putting the final animation together. And we'll probably use GarageBand at some point to come up with the sounds. So. CGBP Gray? I don't recognize that name, so I don't think I do, but I don't know. Maybe I've come across one of their videos at one point. I feel like this is a bit close. That's better. I feel like I have room for my hand now. I was gonna set up my PNG tuber, but I was already pretty late. I figured the PNG tuber wasn't necessary. Oh! I've definitely heard that audio before. I'm not sure if I've watched his videos to full length, but I definitely have heard that, at least that audio. So I knew what you were referencing. I just don't know the guy very well. Hello, sir. Please stop nodding. That would be great. I don't need you to be hindering my progress with knots. What did I just say? Oh, you're knotted. Okay. Well, that's rude. Why would you do that? I guess we persevere. This is also why you shouldn't knot the end of your thread, because it's so easy to, like, if you pull it at the right angle and speed, you can just pull it through anyway, and the knot does nothing. So better to knot in the fabric and not the string than to knot the string. There's a lot of knots in here, and I'm starting to go slightly insane from it. Also, I know that my live stream is technically not in the correct category, but I didn't see anything for specifically sewing or like even craft making. So I just decided to keep it as is, even though it's definitely not the correct category for this. Also, you mentioned earlier that you just didn't have the patience for sewing. I guess I could understand that, but also it probably helped that I started doing this at a young age, so I didn't have quite the... I was already kind of intrigued by it. Like, as a kid, I got into sewing because I started making clothing. How old was I? That's a good question. I was probably about... He looks a little silly from the back. I was probably about 6, I think. I was making... because I absolutely adore stuffed animals, and so my favorite toy as a kid was stuffed animals, and I was making my stuffed animals clothing out of toilet paper, and my parents were like, that is not the correct thing to be making stuff out of. So then my dad was like, all right, let me teach you how to sew so you can make like real clothing for your stuffed animals. Stuffed animals are the best. They're soft, huggable, and I just think they're the greatest little thing. So this is where we started, and this is where we ended. They have a butt, and they have eyes. I'd say that's pretty darn cute. The stream category is currently in film and animation, because usually that's what it's in. That's usually what it falls under. Vaguely. I have a cute Froggo with a mushroom hat on next to me right now. Ooh, very cute. Please, go in. Eeh. Please. Please, I beg of you. Go in. Alright, I think that's in. Soft stuffed animals are the best. Okay. Put that there. You cannot see it, but he's leaning against a glass. Alright. Where shall I cut next? This fabric smells like static. That's not wide enough. Is any of this wide enough? I think this bit's wide enough. Cool, and then we'll trim the back. Alright, I have to sew that area. Cool. Smells like yeah. I don't know how to exactly to describe the smell of static. But it's like when you pull it out of the dryer, except this fabric hasn't gone through the dryer. But like, yeah, it smells like static. It smells like electricity. Yeah. Next, you're gonna tell me it's weird if I can hear the oven when it's on. Are you guys gonna tell me that you don't hear your oven when it's on? It depends on what kind of oven you have, but and depends on what setting you have it on. But I can hear my oven because I'll hear the little tick tick when the heating element turns on or off. That's usually when I hear the oven. Because I'm trying to think of how to describe I think the electrical bit is the oven's half gas, half electric, where the burners run with gas and then the oven itself runs on electricity, I think. It probably also helps that my the oven in my house is, or at my parents' house, the oven is pretty dang old. Are we not at already? Sir? Yeah, I think the oven in our house is like around at least 25 years old, if not older. Same with the microwave, actually. In the washer and dryer. They're old appliances. Is your house a time capsule? No, we just kept the really old appliances because they don't break. And why would we replace things that don't break? Though if you're looking for something super exciting about the house, the carpet's green. The carpet is green. My roommates hated that with a burning passion. They're like, "Why is your carpet green?" I was like, "It's just how it is." And they're like, "Why haven't you replaced it?" And I was like, "It's good carpeting." Just the why would it's my dad doesn't want to replace the carpet cuz like why would we replace the carpet? It's good carpeting. It just happens to be green. No, it on purpose. The carpet on purpose is green. Here, I could show you. Please, release my phone. Okay. It's green. Entire house. Green carpet. There we go. It's just a great little color. As a child, I would pretend it was grass. Like people try and bring in color into the house with the furniture. We usually try and match the furniture to the carpet. Though the real travesty was I don't know, sometime like under 10 for me, we were using some of my parents' old college furniture and it was purple. So we had like a magenta purple couch and green carpet. It was the most interesting mixture. I do not know how they came there, but it was quite the combination. I think they made it work, but it was definitely giving it. We had a villain color scheme for the house. My my walls are green from when it was the guest room before I was brought into this plane of existence. See, green walls are good. I think anything that brings just a little bit of color into the house is great. I would personally dislike if the entirety of my house was white. I think that would be a sad thing for me to live in. Kudos to anyone who can live like that. I just personally would not be able to. Like the bathroom used to be all white. I didn't like that. I was so happy when my dad decided to surprise me with doing like a small bathroom renovation with like painting the walls and adding some blue trim. I was very surprised when he did that because I was thinking I was gonna have to handle that project, and then I came home from college and he's like, you." He kept following me. He's like, have you seen the bathroom yet? And I was like, what do you mean? And then boom, new bathroom. It was very surprising. Did you also... Of course, yes. See, in our guest bedroom was also really fun because it was previously the nursery, and they painted the ceiling as if, because it was like a tall ceiling, so they painted clouds on it. And it had little Winnie the Pooh murals on the sides. So then we had grass and clouds up above. Perfect space. I'm like half thinking I should have like left the cloud mural at the top. And then I could have made it look as if the roof was torn off and I was just staring at the sky. Oh, that reminds me. For whatever reason, my sibling, for a while there, they were like sleeping in a play tent. And it was like an elephant play tent. And it was very silly because the eyes were velcroed onto it, and they were like pretty firm. So then sometimes you just tear off the elephant's eyes to throw at your siblings. Was the light positioned like the sun? Oh no, that room was really weird in the sense that it had no ceiling light. And it still has no ceiling light. So I rely exclusively on my bedside table lamp in order to see in my bedroom. Because I took over the guest bedroom after my parents finished the basement. I think it's the way the ceiling is built. Because it's not a flat roof, it's a triangle roof, pyramid, not pyramid, but like it's a slanted roof, two sides, middle, tallest thing, and then meets at the edges. But yeah, it's like it's close to the roof, so then it follows the roof shape. And because of that, I think that's why there's no overhead lighting. Fair enough. I probably don't have enough lights in my room, but I do have some fairy lights that are hanging, or that line the outer edges of the roof, of the ceiling. So I have that as well. I wish we got a longer strand so we could have like dangled it instead of like lining the roof. Overall, still a good vibe. Provides some nice mood lighting at the very least. I have a stock man. What is a stock man? A stick man. Ah. That's in shadow. That's making it hard to see for everyone involved. Steampunk possible light. Ah, I see. That sounds fun. Have you tried making those polyfill Christmas tree light storm clouds? I have not. I've definitely seen what you're talking about, so I know the basic idea that you have presented, but no, I have not tried making one of those. Don't know if it would fit the vibe of. Maybe. Maybe it would fit the vibe of my room. It would definitely be interesting to hang that from the ceiling. Now the real question is, are we even going to need extra stuffing? Like, I'm definitely going to need to put a little in the tail, but I don't think I'll need that much stuffing in this specific crow. I think I'm going to be asking my boss for a raise. That situation she put me in today was a little bit ridiculous, and $14 an hour is not enough to deal with that nonsense. So, I think I will request a raise soon. I asked my dad, when is a good time to ask for a raise? Like, when is that appropriate? And he's like, anytime. I was like, okay. Hopefully 3-4 months working there is long enough for me to request a raise. You are my favorite YouTuber, by the way. Oh, thank you. I'm very honored. There's a lot of people on this platform, so for you to choose me as your favorite is very touching. I want at least $16 an hour, but it would be nice if I could get 20. Don't think she would give me 20, but it would be nice. Well, now I need to do math. Show yourself, coward. Who are you talking to? I need to do math now because I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to think. Because I can see how much she charges for each class. So for a 2-day class, apparently, she's charging $75 per kid. So 75 times 15. That's $1,125. And then I'm there for what? About 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 10 hours, 10 times 14, 140. I feel like I should be making more. Hello, Shiro. Welcome. Welcome to the conversation. Hope you guys have been enjoying the stream so far. I should probably stuff the tail before I get too much further into sewing in the butt. I've gotten the impression that I'm a very good stream to just listen to, because I'll get like one or two people who converse with me, which is fun, and then I'll also have just a couple people watching, which is also fun. But I get the feeling that I must be fun to just listen to if you guys are like just hanging out. I'm just here to boost viewer count. Silentless support from an old school friend. Fair enough. I appreciate it. Any little thing helps. If you're enjoying the stream too, that's just a bonus. However you guys want to participate in the streams is fine with me, as long as it's considerate to others. There was one person last stream, I felt bad because I put them in timeout a little bit too long because they like were very eager to join, so then they start spamming this chat, and I didn't recognize their name at first, so I thought maybe it was a bot, so I timed them out because I didn't want to be dealing with random bots in the chat, but that was my mistake. I timed them out a little bit too long. Ruth, you are completely fine. It is nice having a talking buddy during the streams, and if you want to be the talking buddy, that is completely fine with me. Striking, one of my friends, Striking, who occasionally joins the streams, does the same thing. He'll just kind of take over the chat, which I'm fine with. Just means I have people engaging, and then it helps me come up with things to talk about, because yeah, I can babble for a little while, but at a certain point it becomes hard to talk just about like random things from your head. Yeah, you can ask a question, feel free. If I don't like the question, I just won't answer it, but you feel free to ask. Did you have a friend in high school named Martin? I did. I don't know if I was like... I definitely knew of him and would talk to him. I don't know if we were super, super close as friends, but like, I definitely had a friend named Martin. It was good to talk to him. I was wondering who you were, because you're like old school friend. I'm like, that could be anyone. That could be someone from college. That could be someone from high school. Now I'm kind of wondering how you found me. If I shared this stream, I find it so funny sometimes when people from high school find me and they're like, hello, and I'm like, where did you come from? Oh, Jimmy, okay. Oh, I need to respond to his Discord. I completely forgot to Discord message him back. He asked me a question, and then I looked at it, and I shouldn't have, because then the notification for it went away, and then I forgot about it. So now I need to respond. I see. Okay. That makes sense. I think I shared the channel with him during Driver's Ed. We are almost done sewing this crow's butt. Where did Bill go? He called everyone a coward and then dipped. Tis a good question. I'm sure he'll be back. Might have just had to do something real quick. Oh, that's another... I was just thinking. I need to finish my laundry. It's sitting in the dryer, just waiting for me to fold it. I should take care of that. There's Bill. See, guys, he wasn't missing. He was just lurking. It's fine. Thankfully, he didn't follow the directions to ramp it. that was very silly. That was my favorite thing. Just the driver instructor. Okay, picture this. Taking a driver's class at your local high school, and one of the teachers that you know from elementary school is there teaching you, instructing you how to drive, and had a little bit of driving experience before. Practice with your dad. You get in the car, and you're parked in front of a fence, and you're supposed to back up and, start driving. But then teacher just decides to be silly and goes, gun it. Just says gun it. Not that I was gonna gun it, because we're in front of a fence, and that's not what you do when in front of the fence. But I thought it was really funny. I thought it was really funny that he just looked at just went gun it. Why didn't you? Well, see, the car didn't belong to me. Also, I didn't want the teacher to lose his job by giving me bad instructions. It was supposed to be funny, not me running into the tennis court fence. That's not fun. He's just trying to lighten the mood. Because, believe it or not, having three teenagers in a car learning how to drive is not the most relaxing situation. I think he knew it. In my eyes, I was occasionally a rule follower, and that's why he made the joke to me. I just did the most cursed thing. This is definitely cursed. I should sit normally. Sewing like that doesn't necessarily work on camera. Yeah, he was one of the better teachers. I don't think I had him personally for a class, but driving instructor, 10 out of 10. He had big dad energy when instructing the class, and I think that's necessary for teaching a driving class effectively. Still enjoy reading books? Oh, you know it. I went to the library the other day. Here, I can show you. Oops. Here are all of the books. They're in my backpack. I have more. They're just strewn about. I have a couple on my bedside table too. Now, if only my love of reading wasn't so focused on fan fiction, and then I think I would be more efficient with my time. I don't know. But yes, very big reader still. I am so scared I'm gonna break this thread. because it is very thin right over here. I don't know why, but it is. And I'm scared that pulling on it too much is just gonna break it, and I don't want to break this thread. I just want to patch this little area right here. Please, please, please. Be nice to me. Live. 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 Why are you like this? There's like this little fuzzy. I think that's the actual thread. I just want to complete the ladder stitch. Please. Please. This is totally gonna break the thread. Ugh. Oh, that's a lot. I switched to downloading books on my phone. Also, same. I read fiction books mostly. Yeah, a lot of the books I've been getting from the library have been non-fiction because I'm doing a lot of research for my story When It Rains. So I need it to do research for that. Hence, most of the books I get from the library are nonfiction. And there we go. I broke the thread. I broke the thread, folks. I don't like how that looks. If only you were normal, and then we wouldn't be having this issue. But you're not, so we are, and that's making me sad. Hello, welcome. I promise I will reply to your Discord. I just got distracted and I looked at it, but that was a mistake because then the notification for your message disappeared and then I forgot about it for a hot second. But I will respond. I'll do that soon. My library sucks. I've been reading every book in my house. Aw. Sorry, your library isn't good. Okay, how are we gonna attach this? Because I don't want that falling apart. Okay. Tie that. And we can tie that again. Just to be on the safe side, we'll tie it a third time. And then maybe sew down a little bit more so that I can give it a little bit of a basis. And then we'll knot it again. I love breaking thread. Breaking thread's so fun. Never do I have regrets about breaking the thread. Ever. Okay. And we'll push this back up to the original line. And then we can knot this again. Awesome. There we go. He stands. I just shouldn't decide to be more specific now. I'm stretching real quick. I think it's time to sew on the eyes for this guy. We'll get some more thread, because the last thread is being a little bit fishy. A little annoying. I can do better than that. You can be better than that. I've been meaning to read Gregor the Underlander because Alyssa recommended it to me a few streams back, but I haven't gotten to it. Ooh. Yeah, you should definitely listen to it. Ah, stabbed myself. Definitely should listen to that. He do be standing. He kind of stands back up too. Oh, Jimmy Martin, I don't know if you know, the reason I'm making these is for Comic-Con, specifically Motor City Comic-Con. So if you guys are going to that, you should come to my booth. It'll be fun. Do we think this eye is the pupil a bit too big? Should I trim that down a bit? Sadly, fair enough. Fair enough. Completely understandable. You know, I moved completely out of state for college, so it's not a surprise that you guys spread out a bit. J novels, I'm pretty sure that's junior novels. So, stuff like maybe the Wild Robot? I'm not sure if that's exactly what you're talking about, but. Or, maybe Warrior Cats would classify underneath J novels. Oh, Japanese novels. Oh, never mind. I was completely off. I thought you were talking about, younger fiction, which is completely understandable, because sometimes the elementary novels just have better premises. I don't want to read about the next Divergent Hunger Games series. I want a story where they unapologetically decide that one of the characters gets turned into a cat, and how are they going to deal with that? They only explore that in elementary fiction, I feel like. So sometimes you just have to read the younger books for the plot. That makes them pretty quick reads, though. Japanese novels also make sense, though. Could have gone either way. Probably like manga, but I prefer having to imagine what I'm reading, and mangas is basically comics. Fair enough. Sometimes your imagination makes something look a little bit more spectacular and fantastical. though. Sometimes sometimes mangas hit it out of the park, like the Delicious in Dungeon Meshi. That graphic novel is fantastic. Prob- Easily probably one of the best manga I've read. Sir, I understand we started with a new, longer string. However, we really we just started, and you're made himself a knot. How annoying. Luckily, I was able to fix it, but ah, that does make things difficult. So then, probably having the comics for it's nice, because then you get a better visualization of what they're thinking. So for reading fictional books, does like feeling based descriptions work better? Like, I know there's the descriptor of like white knuckling something when you're like gripping something so hard your knuckles turn white. Does descriptions like that work better for you, or is it just the general? You can get the gist of what's going on even if you can't exactly picture it in your head. Uh, aphasia. I think that's how it's pronounced. Aphasia is the So each human brain has a different capacity for imagining things. And some people are able to picture images in their head perfectly. Like if you were to imagine an apple in your head, some people are able to fully render out the apple, make it 3D, give it highlights, colors, a space to sit in, stuff like that. And there's like different levels of that. Some people can get like a faint, foggy image. Some people just can't think of an image at all. Their brain just physically cannot create an image in their head. So, aphasia is the complete lack of image. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I think he's a little bit heavier than the other crows. That's okay. That's why, as an artist, I depend on Pinterest so much. That app probably owns a portion of my soul. Fair enough. And even people who can visualize things in their head should be looking at references. It's not cheating. It is a genuine resource, and in order to build up your image library, you need to have external images to be looking at. Like, the only reason why I can draw so well from my head now is because I've spent plenty of time working off of studies and making my image library. Dang, you're a full-on lucid dreamer? I've done that occasionally, but I always feel like I'm on the verge of waking myself up when I'm lucid dreaming. And then also my brain gets stuck in the cycles, so then I'll do an action and then I'll get stuck doing that action over and over again. Like, for example, if I flip into the water, then I'm stuck flipping in the water to the point where the last time I did a lucid dream, I drowned because I couldn't stop spinning around in the water. wonder if how my brain gets when I'm lucid dreaming is like a side effect of ADHD. Because that's kind of the thing with ADHD, at least one of the things, is your brain gets fixated on something. So I'm wondering if less than conscious Alyssa gets into that dream pattern where you kind of get stuck looping in the same kind of action because your brain gets stuck on it. That is perhaps something for a Google search. A little bit of research. I feel like that would make sense on why specifically my dreams do that whenever I try and control them. Galcium? What's a like, are you just trying to emphasize the point of like creating something from nothing, as in like there's no visual basis for this thing, this is just a made up thing? Or are you talking about something specific and I just don't know that word? I don't know that word. I'm working on the edge of the desk again. Oopsie. Sometimes I have great cinematography. Other times, it's not so great. Arguably, it's still not great. Let me push back a bit. Hey, now that I have the stream set up in mind, I could probably do like a physical painting stream at some point. Defaulting to frog. Fair enough. Fair enough. I feel like everyone has like a default thing they draw. I think my default character is a TVYA protagonist, specifically girl protagonist, like characters like Luce. Well, not specifically Luce, just the kind of genre, if you can imagine. I think that's my default character. I think that's what a lot of my characters I end up drawing are. Sometimes I feel like I should shake it up and maybe make a boy protagonist, but then I say no, it's fine. There could always be more girls in media. I'm just balancing things out. It makes sense that it would take you a couple of thumbnail sketches to create something. I feel like as you work more as an artist, you tend to do that anyway, even if you can imagine stuff in your head. Because realistically, you're just doing your thinking, but on paper. That's one eye. Sir, please don't. I just want to tie this off, and we can be good, right? Right? What gender is Bean? I've been like calling him a him, but he's very fluid with his gender in the sense that he doesn't really care about gender expectations, which I think is a pretty average trait of a shapeshifter not really caring about gender all that much because you're not really constrained to any one look. Will you do angry eyes on them in the stream or no? I could do this one, an angry eye one. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, I'll need to cut out some more felt for it, but I can do that. Sure, we can do that in stream. Let's add the other eye first, and then we can add the angry eyes. That was a dumb. I did a dumb. No, no. We don't want him knotted. Please. Sir, please. Don't do this to me. Please. I think this is a different kind of knot than normal. I don't think I can fix that one. Oh boy. Alright. It's just how he is, I guess. How upsetting. How did you get worse? We weren't supposed to do that. I'm thinking next week I should also do another crow sewing stream, just because I've been getting a little bit behind with making them, and having you guys here to help keep me on track for making the crows, I think is a good thing. So I think next week we'll also do another sewing stream. And next week I can have my PNG tuber also hooked up. Wouldn't that be fun? You know, sometimes I wonder what some of the big sewing gurus would think of my crows. Maybe they would tell me the secrets that would make this project not take as long. Or maybe Bernadette Banner would just be like, oh my gosh, you're hand sewing these? Hand sewing's my favorite thing. Or perhaps they would say nothing at all. Most likely the latter, honestly. Hello, Julia. Welcome to the stream. We are currently sewing some crows for Comic-Con. So I'm going to be in the artist alley, and my crows are big sellers. So that will be one of the wares. Yeah, I was kind of surprised I like got into the artist alley. And I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have been surprised, but like it was just really pleasing to like apply to it and then I don't know, not even a month later, just get the confirmation that yeah, you made it to the artist alley. It was less exciting when the money for the booth went out of my bank account, but you know, it was still exciting. Hopefully I didn't stab myself enough to bleed. I don't think I did. That's good. If you think, I don't know. I don't know if Julia has specifically joined one of my streams before. Mayhaps. Could have been lurking. I know Perry joined one of my streams before, and that was exciting. I was like, hello! You make really cool animatics. And then they came by again at a different time. And that was also fun. And I was able to say, hey, I watched a bunch of your animatics. They are very good. Very cool. Good work. It's always fun being able to connect with people. Be able to go up to a fellow artist and say, your art's very yummy. Thank you. I feast it well. How did you make that specific thing? I was talking about the one time that Perry joined my stream. They are a fellow Hermitcraft enjoyer who has been making a lot of animatics on Hermitcraft content. And they joined my stream twice. I was talking generally about how cool it is to just run into fellow artists and be able to tell them how much you love their art and tell them how yummy it is. I have also been doing that. I won't lie, I found them through them finding my streams. So the first time they joined my stream, I didn't really know who they were. So I was just interacting with them as just an average viewer, which is probably for the best because you shouldn't treat people differently based on how many people they have following them, because that's just a little messed up if you do that. But then the second time that they joined my stream, I had watched a bunch of their animatics at that point. I was like, oh my gosh, I watched a bunch of your stuff. It was really cool. Thank you for the tasty content. Start a fan club. Perry fan club. I think this eye ended up being a little bit more ovular than that eye. That's okay. They're all unique and different, and I love each and every single one of them. Alright, where did I put my felt? On the floor. It's on the floor. I think I took this specific felt from the school. Got to go chat. Hi, it was really fun popping in. It was fun. Yeah, it was really fun. Should definitely join again sometime if you're feeling up to it. Have a good time doing whatever you're doing, Julia. I think it would be really fun if at some point in my YouTube career I can just have the same energy as Janinja Ninja, where she'll just find a random fixation at times, and everyone vibes with whatever random fixation she is on that particular month. And she's just able to post anything, and it's completely fine. His little angry eyebrows. Fantastic idea. Fantastic idea for the angry eyebrows. Definitely a vibe. Why isn't this... Huh? Sir? Become smaller. Oh, am I grabbing both sides? I might be grabbing both sides. I was like, why isn't it doing its thing? Why isn't the string becoming smaller? There we go. Now string's acting like string. Right. Add the angry eyebrows. And then we'll get on to sewing another crow butt. How long have we been streaming? Like 2 hours? And my mom doubted that I would be able to stream for 3 hours with crow sewing content. Let's not stab ourselves underneath the nail again. Because I can still feel where I did it the last time, and it's not pleasant. This is the pinnacle of entertainment right here, folks. I'm glad you're enjoying it. It's certainly helping me get some crows done, which was sorely needed. Crow sewing content. You know, all it took was me to watch some Philza Minecraft content to really appreciate crows as the silly birds they are. And ever since then, I've been a firm crow enjoyer. I wanted to just make some, enjoy some. I was gonna take a pottery class in college and make a crow mold so I could like just make infinite clay crows, but I didn't end up getting to do that because they kicked me out of the class because apparently I had enough credits and you didn't need to take 6 classes. Well, joke's on them, I took 6 classes anyway. You can't stop me. I don't care if you're like, I don't know, running out of classes for other students. That's not my fault. I'm here to get my education, and maybe you should do more classes. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the stream. It has certainly been a very fun time. Wonder if I'll pick up some random Australians the longer I stream. I don't know where they come from. I'm glad they enjoy my content. I'm just confused on where they come from. Like, I know they're from Australia, but like, how did you find my content? Like, when I was originally trying to decide on a time to stream, I had at least one Australian like weigh in and be like, yeah, you should do it at this time so I can actually make your stream. And I was like, wait, you guys are, where did you come from? Like, I'm glad you're watching, but like, where did you come from? Those random Australians. Ezrin? Maybe? Might need to give me a bit more context on that person. With Thing. 'Cause I'm currently blanking at the moment. I don't remember a lot of things based off of name. I usually remember them based on concept. They do Hermitcraft IMX and they do awesome guitar streams. Ew! I probably ran into their content at least once then, because I usually do the rounds with looking at Hermitcraft animatics. I feel like I have the light a little bit too close, and that's why you're getting a little bit of that white glow. but I don't know how else to do this. That a bit better? Perhaps? Maybe? I do not know. I feel like that just made things darker. Whatever. Continue on, going on. Fair enough. I'm trying to think of when... No, you're good. Tangents are completely fine. We have passed the 2-hour mark officially on the stream, so random tangents are expected and encouraged. So I've been thinking recently about like this little thought experiment that someone had. I don't know if it was like exactly a thought experiment, but they were essentially, it goes, would you accept $500 every single day, but you had to spend that $500 in a discreet way that people wouldn't notice? And like, how would you do that? And then also you needed to spend the $500, else the money would disappear anyway. Or I don't know if it like you just stopped getting money because you stopped spending money, but it went something along those lines. I've been thinking about it in the sense of like, okay, so what would I buy? And then also, like, how could you go about it in a way that could, like, potentially do you well later? Some obvious things would be like, oh, you just, like, buy a bunch of games. I think you would run out of games pretty fast. What could you spend? Like, art materials, very easy to spend a decent amount of money on. So I feel like you could do that for a little bit, but eventually you would just have I think at some point you need to like open up a small business where you like just end up funding a lot of the small business through the money that you get every day. I don't know if you can buy gift cards, because like one of the stipulations where you were not allowed to buy stocks with it. I don't think I did these eyebrows even. Well, that just looks silly. Hold on. We need to fix that. Yeah, so you weren't able to buy stocks. I don't know if you were able to buy real estate. Mostly because I think $500 isn't really enough to buy real estate anyway. But I think you're allowed to pay rent with it. So you could definitely pay for all of your basic utilities, or at least pay for a good chunk of it with the 500-day cash. But I'm not sure. Like, at some point, I feel like it would get pretty obvious that you had like a lot of cash to spend. But you have to do it consistently every single day. Like, yeah, you could go to the black market like once or twice or whatever and get like a $500 thing, but you have to make sure it's discreet. Like, no one notices that you're spending $500. So whatever you buy, it needs to stay for yourself. Or at least not obviously a big donation. you can use it to buy money. I don't know if you can. I think if stocks aren't allowed and real estate isn't allowed, exchanging it to a different currency isn't going to change the fact that the money is going to disappear. I guess maybe if you're buying maybe you could use it to buy gold. I don't think I saw anything against buying gold. So maybe you could buy gold? And that would be a way of, like, you definitely have to keep it on the down low, though. Someone goes into your house and finds your stash of precious metals. Absolute bafflement. Wait, why do you have all of these? I like collecting. You should invest this. I can't. Gold is my investment. Hear me out. Money that expires in 1 day is worth less than money that expires in 1 month. That is true, because I was, like, thinking of, like, all of the things you could do with $500 a day and how great it would be if you could, like, invest it in something. But if you can't invest it in something, at some point money is worthless. And then at some point you're, like, struggling to come up with things, like stuff to buy. Guess you could always just start commissioning a bunch of artists. Commission them for really complicated digital art pieces when you're struggling for something to buy that day. So then you just commission someone. Does the money disappear from whoever you purchase stuff from? That is a good question. Because on one hand, it would be really sucky if you commissioned an artist and then the money disappeared after you gave it to the artist. That would be sucky. But then also, I feel like the influx of you buying $500 worth of items every single day, would that mess with the economy? I don't know if that would have. I guess millionaires can go around buying stuff and it doesn't disrupt the economy too much, so it probably would be fine. But that's like $500 extra that the government didn't end up printing. And that adds up. That money adds up. What a terrible person you would be. Yeah, I'm here to say that the money doesn't disappear as long as you bought something. It only disappears when you didn't buy something. Because you're not allowed to be a dragon. You're not allowed to hoard. You have to spend the wealth. Oh, idea for spending the $500. You just, like, I think the point is, no, they need to not get suspicious about the money you're spending. So as long as no one's suspicious about the money you're spending, I think you're good. So you could always make it your job to spend that money. Like, you make a YouTube channel and be like, I spent $500 on books. See what I get. Or I spent $500 on this boat trip. Was it worth it? Maybe that could work. Alright. We've got a guy who's either looking behind him or rolling his eyes, and we got a man with angry eyebrows. They're not in frame. What a man. All right. We'll drink some more water. And then sew on another butt. I've almost gone through the entire 12-ounce glass. Probably gonna need to grab more water soon. This one is sewn with muslin, but I ran out of that fabric. And it's a good fabric to use for just like, because it's on the cheaper side of fabric, so you can get a whole bunch of it. I'm really starting to miss my my school's sewing lab. They just had this big roll of muslin, and you could take as much as you wanted. Comes for the sewing, stays for the ASMR. It's just specifically, I'm pretty sure it's just specifically drinking the water, right? Like, is there any other sound effects? Are you hearing the thread? Who knew? I was trying to be an artist YouTuber. But at the end, in the end, I just became a sound effects guy. I know it's specifically the sound of me swallowing the water. I know that. Because I've had my dad mention it to me. He's like, Alyssa, I can hear you across the room. I'm like, I know. I know. I don't know how else to do it, though. It's just how I drink water. Water just be tasty. Yay, you can be a chatterbox like me. Water do be like that. Yes, yes. I've been saving the scraps of the fabric of the Minky, but I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it. Maybe I'll stuff a crow with it. And I won't even need the glass micro beads because he'll be heavy on his own. One big glass in the middle of the night. Hey, midnight water just hit different sometimes. Not that it's midnight for me, it's 11. We're not quite there yet. $119? Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Is that like AM or PM? Like, I also just regularly stay up until, like, 2 a.m., but I guess I can't fault you on your choices. Though that does make sense for middle of the night for you. What is that? What was that knot? That was a bad knot. What was that? We can do better than that. You're just dedicated to seeing these crows sewn. I mean, fair enough. I'm kind of also like in the zone of this. Hence why we're still streaming after 2.5 hours. Okay. Got that tied on. Beads in the body, and then we'll just lay that across, and we can sew it in. You need to catch the thrilling conclusion of Sewn Crow number 9. Hey, we've gotten past Sewn Crow number 9. You just haven't seen Sewn Crow number 9. 1 through 10 are in the basement. We currently have 11, 12, 13, and 14 up here. You guys must be really having a good time if you guys have stayed for like practically the entire time to watch me sew. I made the string too long again. I swear, at some point I need to get some beeswax so I can. You don't understand crow watching grind. What do you mean I don't understand? I'm living it! How do I not understand? You guys are watching the crow sewing grind. I'm living it. I'm planning on making 42 crows. What else am I supposed to be doing at this time? Freaking Bill. Hey, don't cuss out Bill. Bill's a valued member of this audience. So we're not going to cuss out anyone. Though that statement was really that sentence is objectively very funny. Hey, Bill, you'll be very, I don't know, maybe happy, honored, perhaps. So, Frank unfortunately did not. Frank the jumping spider unfortunately did not make it through his molt, which I am upset about because I loved Frank. But me and my dad are now on the lookout for another jumping spider to adopt, and whatever jumping spider we adopt, their name is going to be Bill. I thought we needed to stay on track with the theming of the names, and that name fit the vibe. Frank and Bill. Maybe if we get a third jumping spider at some point, we can name him Bob. No, that made complete sense. Apologizes like a second grader. Child forced to apologize in like second grade. Yep, makes sense. Feel the vibe. Don't you feel honored that your name is going to be the same as a jumping spider? He will be a cutie patootie. I'm having issues again. Please. Please. I stop knotting. I just want to sew, and you're not making. I really need to get beeswax so I can wax my threads. Why did that work? It falling over pulled the thread through. There we go. No, you're not allowed. If some random girl walked up to me and said the spider reminds me of you, I start questioning everything I ever did outside my house. I guess from that perspective, maybe. I can see how it could be silly from that perspective. You know that sentence has the vibes of, look, I made a heart. Look, here's a heart. This reminds me of you. Aw, thanks. This one's shaped like Michigan. That's how I feel about you. What does that mean? That very similar vibes to that audio. Are you quoting? I am quoting. This is like a specific audio. Not sure where exactly it's from, but I think it's hilarious. And I just heard it on TikTok one day. It was a really good audio, and it had like a small. I think a couple animation memes were made with that audio. I think if you just search up that this one's shaped like Michigan, that's how I feel about you. Um, I think I think the audio would pop up. Speaking of audio, oh no, oh no, what are you what are you speaking of? That animation with Link and Sidon talking about the whole. Yeah, what about it? That audio fits so well. I thought it did, and so did others. Like, one person in the comments section was like, you know, if you switch Sidon out for Pyrrha, this would like be perfect. I was like, could have done that. However, someone else already did that. So, one, I thought it was funny with Sidon. Two, someone already did that, so I didn't necessarily want to do the same kind of concept as them. Because even though it's an animation meme at this point, we didn't need to do the same exact thing as someone else, because what's the point? Someone already did that one, and they did a very good job. There's no need for me to do that exact same thing again. So instead we used Sidon, which was great. He was a very silly protagonist for that video. Though my roommates started making fun of me because they're like, "Oh my gosh, Alyssa, you're obsessed with Sidon. You have a crush on him." I was like, "I don't necessarily have a crush on him. I just think he's a great character." But then I started drawing him in my sketchbook because I needed to practice. I needed to practice drawing him because he's a shark and he has stupid features. That man is built so stupid. I'm sorry. What is his torso? His torso. What is that? Anyway, I was practicing drawing him because he was genuinely difficult to draw. So then they were seeing sketches of Sidon in my sketchbook, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, Alyssa, are you obsessed?" I'm like, "I'm not obsessed. He's just hard to draw." Maybe I was obsessed. Mayhaps I was. But I just think he's so silly. Did I go to the Zora Kingdom first and Tears of the Kingdom, even though they were like definitely pushing me to the Rita domain? Yeah, I did. I did do that. It was for completely normal reasons though, because I thought it'd be really funny. I wanted to see what they were up to. That fight was definitely a lot more difficult than it had to be, though, because I was technically doing it out of order. So it wasn't leveled in a way that was helpful for me. I nodded this again. Almost makes me want to take out my waxed thread. Almost. Alright. Sir, please contain. Please stay contained in the vessel I have provided for you. Please. Once I made the fatal error of drawing the Life series hearts next to a sketch of one of the guys in my theater club. He wanted concept art for his costume, and now everyone thinks I like him. Oh no. Oh no. Guys, it's a yellow, green, and red heart. It's a traffic light. It has nothing to do with that. Should have drawn a traffic light. Is that why you're nervous about drama club? Your fake crush is there and they're gonna tease you about it. Goodbye, Ruth. Hopefully you come back. Maybe one day. So, my sibling, they sent me a text this morning, like early this morning, talking about how they accidentally ruined one of their favorite AUs for themselves. Because, like, they've been taking an EMS course, and they also really liked that AU of just, like, one of the characters being a paramedic. But now that they know all of the procedures for being, because they've been studying to be an EMS, emergency medical response, yeah, ever since they start studying that, they've had less and less content to read through, because nothing is worse than knowing a topic and then watching someone not quite write it correctly because they just aren't an expert, which is fine. Sometimes it's hard to get that information. But they texted me because they're like, Alyssa, I can't read it anymore. They keep making mistakes. You aren't supposed to pull out the thing before tying a tourniquet. Stop the bleeding first. You don't want them to bleed out. It was like a specific procedure on something, and they were like so upsetty spaghetti that they weren't getting it correct. So that was an amusing thing to wake up to, a text to wake to this morning. My sibling realizing that they ruined another AU for themselves. You missed me talking about how my sibling is sad because they ruined an AU for themselves. They're training to be a paramedic. Well, not paramedic, an EMS, emergency responder. And now they can't read those stories because they don't do it properly, and that bugs them. How do you feel about taking a more involved role when it comes to others' work? There are two different paramedics and EMS are slightly different because there's a slightly different certification for it, and my sibling is doing the more basic one. Paramedics, I don't know if there's like there's probably a different word for it maybe, but they essentially have more training and are able to make more doctor-like decisions. There's like a certain thing that you're rated and able to do before you have to call someone else. So they're not like going completely into it, but they thought it would be good to know because they want to work with the national parks, and that kind of thing is important. Couldn't your sibling ask the writer if they can help with the AU? I mean, they could. But my sibling does have a communication problem occasionally where they get very enthusiastic about the topic they're speaking about. And occasionally that can come across as a small lecture of the topic because they start info dumping about it. And And some people do not take that well. And some people are just writing for the fun of it, so they don't necessarily want to be, are not necessarily caring about being a completely 100% correct on it. But yeah, I think if they were to do it correctly, they could probably collaborate, but they're also so busy that I don't think they've even really considered trying to genuinely try and collaborate with someone to write that kind of story, cuz even the story that I'm writing and they're helping me edit has been abandoned for months because they have yet to beta the chapters that I have finished because they're that busy that they just don't have time to. So if that's not the reason why you're stressed about drama club, what are you stressed about? I'm sure it's a perfectly sane, and I'm saying this wrong. I'm sure it's a good reason that you're stressed about it. Perhaps I can help you de-stress about it a little bit so it's more fun than stressful. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Solo. That makes sense. Is it practice or just like you're performing? Also, I have a Life series hoodie and my friend calls it my insert his name hoodie. That's so mean. That's so mean. Is your friend just being silly? Or do they genuinely not know? Ah, that's not helpful. You just need to put on your customer service voice. They know. Well, practice helps because that means they're expecting there to be they're expecting some things to not be perfect. So then the point of it is probably to help you work on it to get it to the best of your ability. But you've probably built it up a little bit in your head because you are. Sounds like you're nervous to play the character, which makes sense. I was nervous for the D&D campaign that I went to. It was very silly. Over the weekend on Sunday, I drove an hour to go play D&D game with some of my friends. It was very silly because I was supposed to carpool with said friends to go over there and meet all of her friends. But then she got stuck because she was still trying to buy a car because her other car just wasn't working anymore, so she needed a new one. And then my other friend got sick at work, so then she couldn't go. So then I was like, okay, I guess I'm just going off to go meet my friends' friends for the first time and then role play with them. We had a good time. I was just like, that was a very extroverted thing for me to do. Yeah, but I have the lowest voice in the cast, and there are several boys with fully developed vocal cords. I don't know. My director is very kind about the whole thing. Yeah, that can be difficult, and I guess maybe if you can't talk in a higher pitched voice, which completely understandable. You wouldn't want to do something that's uncomfortable for you. Maybe you could try and match the energy of a higher pitched voice of just like higher energy without necessarily being higher pitched. So then it still sounds like a more excited voice. A more excited voice without it being like too high pitched into something that wouldn't sound good for you. Maybe that would help. Are your friends your friends? I would say we're becoming friends. I don't know too much about them yet, and I can't say that I should count them as friends when I'm still like trying to remember their names. Like I have one of their names down, but like they introduced themselves to me and then I like completely blanked on their names, which I felt so bad about. So then I just like avoided saying their name directly because that was like, dang it, I forgot their names like 2 minutes after they told me. That's so bad of me. Oopsie doopsie. I didn't mean to do that. I promise. They just slid out of my brain. Yeah, actually, that's really helpful. I'm glad that's helpful. Hopefully that hopefully that'll help meet the character's energy at the very least. So even if you can't match the pitch, you can still match the character. And I think that would be a way of making the character your own. So then you can actually enjoy playing the character. I'm glad the name thing's relatable. I felt so bad about it though. I was like, oh, dang it. All of my friends are from her work, and one of them is like kind of her boss, not really. I don't know. Supervisor maybe. So I don't know. At least the one person who I remember the name of, or at least figured out the name of later, was the supervisor friend. I can't make a bad impression on 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 her friends, but especially not that one. Do you remember their character's name? Um, I remember two of the characters' names. One of the characters' names was Frank. I remember that one because it reminded me of my spider. And then I remembered the other guy's name, which was Maximus, because it reminded me of Maximus Ride. And I was like, ha ha ha, fun book series. And then I can't remember the other guy, so I've been in my head calling him uh man man living in the shadow of a dumpster. I would have to relook at my notes to see exactly how I phrased it, but essentially he presented his character as essentially an incel who who's like trying out his hacking skills in real life and thinks everyone's after him when they're not. They're really not. They kind of are, but they're really not. He's like, I'm the best hacker in the world. The worst part is his character's kind of competent. Like, we got into a fight and he killed two of them. There was four of them and he killed two. I didn't kill one. I was like, dang it. I know my character's pretending to be a master marksman, but he could pretend better. Did you watch The Amazing Digital Circus? Sorry, pretty random question. No, you're good. We are past the 2 hour mark. Random questions are expected and encouraged. Yeah, I've watched The Amazing Digital Circus. Pretty good. I'm intrigued to see where they go with the storytelling. It definitely has. I would like to think I'm like a pretty average in my liking of it though. Like I'm very encouraging of any and all, well, pretty much any and all independent indie animated projects. So it's nice to see more of those. I haven't gotten one that I'm like super gremlin over yet though. Also, if you're wondering why I'm going back over the section that I already did, I am trying to ease some of the creases that are in the lines. I don't know if I just need to. Yeah, I think I just need to sew back over it a bit. Get rid of some of the accidental pleats I made. My brother forced me into watching it after a couple months, and I'm so glad I did. I really like it. The backgrounds are amazing. Yeah, I agree. And I really like watching their animation process for it, because while it is a 3D animated thing, they do make the storyboards in 2D, and I think they really leaned into it for the last episode. You could tell by the expressions, because they got some really good exaggerated expressions from the storyboards, and I thought that was a nice touch. Why does it seem like my laptop is running the stream better? Better than my desktop? That's so weird. It doesn't give me the exact metrics on it because, that's not the computer that it's using to, like, stream. But it seems like it's streaming better than it does on my desktop, which is so weird. Maybe doing phone camera is just less strenuous than art program. Perhaps that is it. Or maybe the Wi-Fi is just being fantastic today. Who knows? Did my I think we've been entirely silent for a little bit here. Wonder how long that music stopped playing. Just been working in silence for a little bit. really here of all places, as I'm trying to end the stitch, this is where you draw the line? This is where you make things difficult for me? When I'm trying to tie a knot? Ugh. I swear, they're so rude to me sometimes. Alright. Another butt sewn on. I'll probably color that thread a little bit later so it's not as obvious. Drink some water. Alright. Now we have a choice. Do we want to finish up this last crow on stream? Should we call it a night? Even more ASMR. Do I need to trim this one as well? Probably. I think it'll take me about 20 minutes to sew on the eyes. Maybe? Probably? We can finish another crow. We can do it. I believe in us. Do one more crow. We'll finish off this crow. And I think it'll be time for bed. Because it is late. How's just that look now? There we go. A little bit more weights of the eyes. Yeah. Maybe it's just this thread. Maybe this thread just sucks. Do you like Zelda? I do like Zelda. Are you talking about specifically the character or the franchise? Because I will say both. I do like both. I haven't played too many of the games, but I do think it's fun. If so, what is your favorite Zelda game? Okay, so the games I have played are Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, and a fourth of Ocarina of Time. I didn't finish that one specifically because I kept getting stuck on things that I think were kind of maybe silly for me to keep getting stuck on, but I kept getting stuck on things, and I was using my friend's DS to play the game, so I don't actually own the game to continue trying. But I've been enjoying the Switch games of Zelda, and I think probably all of them are fun. I just haven't really had a chance to play them. So I think all the Zeldas are cool for their own reasons. Who would be my favorite? Oh. Minish Cap is pretty fun. Or at least the concept of it. I have some drawings in my sketchbook of a version of Link, but as an actual Minish rather than just a small tiny human, not human, Hylian. Instead of just a tiny Hylian, like he gets turned into a Minish on his adventure instead of just a tiny Hylian. I like that concept. I think that's fun. If you cannot tell, I got pretty into the Linked Universe fandom. And I read a lot of the content, and I've been following the comic. I wonder what it must feel for the person who created that AU, for it to have gotten so much notoriety among the people. Because that fandom's bigger than small. That's bigger than some, like, commercial. It's bigger than some other fandoms. Like, I think it has, like, over at least 3,000, if not 8,000 fics in it. Which is impressive. I'd have to relook at the tag to see how many there are, but there's like a decent amount in there. You know, I find it so baffling when authors actively dislike fan fiction. I just think that's the oddest thing, because I don't know, maybe it's because I like consuming it a lot, but I find it to be like the purest form of it, like, love for the story. It's like someone took time out of their very busy lives to write like a multiple novels around your story, and they decided to play around with the world too. And I just think that's so fun. Just multiple people coming together to play around in one world and do a cross-examination. Of a character. I think that's the funnest thing. Yet Nintendo being against mods, I can get it, but also, like, you don't have to go that hard against it. Like, some things are made better when mods are allowed to be a part of it. Like, yeah, there's always gonna be the base game. And people remember that. But it's also just fun seeing what other people can do. Like, I think, like, the hype around Animal Crossing lasted for a good while, but I think it would have lasted longer if Nintendo allowed the mods. Which I know would have been hard if, for, like, online content. But I think mods that affect character speech and interactions and relationships in the game definitely would have made the game last longer, because the characters do have the unfortunate side effect of feeling a little bit like play dolls in your town. Where's the beef with your neighbors? They're all very supportive and they're all very kind to you. I feel like you need like a few neighbors having beef with you to really liven up the island. So in the game Animal Crossing, the like very original version of the game, that's fair. That's fair. It would definitely mess with the family image of the game, which makes sense with how it could ruin it. But I don't know, Minecraft has a big modding scene, and yet it's still seen as like a kids game. So I think it's still possible, but yeah, based on their company values, I can see why they wouldn't allow mods based on that. But okay, so original version of Animal Crossing for, I think it was the GameCube. The characters had personality, and to get the best idea of it, I think you just need to watch the Jaden Animations video of it. She did a pretty good job explaining how the different characters would either make fun of you, bully you, have like different comments, like just general personalities, and it was like engaging to interact with them. And now like all of them are really nice to you, which is good generally, but it lacks substance after a while. So, having like different interactions, I think, with the villagers would have made it more impactful, I think. Then just don't buy those mods, or just ban those mods. Yeah, but then they would have to dedicate someone towards reviewing modded content. And I don't know if they. Granted, they also have to pay someone to review modded content in order to like find it and police it. So maybe it wouldn't be that different of a job to just police the mods that are like egregious. I don't know. I hate this thread with a burning passion, actually. Maybe I should go to Joanne's when it's while it's still open and get myself some new thread, because this thread sucks. Her video is my only exposure into the world of Animal Crossing, so I kind of get what you mean in that sense. Good, excellent. That's all you need to know, really. It's like a comfy slice of life game with a collecting aspect. And the GameCube version had a little bit more spice to the dialogue. Joanne's is dying and it's so sad. Yeah, and it's not even their fault because they had no debt when they got bought. But then it's so stupid. They bought Joann's with, like, they had to, like, get into debt to buy the company. And then they pushed that debt onto Joann's. So while the store was doing completely fine on its own, suddenly it was saddled with debt that it had no need for. So then they were struggling to try and make up the debt that they forced on them when they bought the company. What? That's so rude. Imagine buying a company and saying, oh, actually, you're responsible for buying that company. I'm hoping that because Joann's is disappearing, it won't be a case of now you need to buy a whole bunch of stuff online. It'll be a case of some smaller stores opening to help fill the niche. Oh, good night, Bill. Yeah, it's been pretty late. I'm surprised you stayed this long. Have a good rest of your night. Sleep well. Have a good day tomorrow. And then there was 2. So close to finishing the crow. And then we can all go to bed. Or at least be in bed. I might do some reading before going to sleep. But you know, that's for me. Almost stabbed? Actually, I did stop myself. Gotta stop doing that. Stabbing ourselves is not the goal. It actually hurts. Undesirable outcome. Wow, it's sewing so much faster when the thread isn't fighting you. It's amazing how that works. It's almost as if when things aren't fighting against you, you have an easier time. It's amazing how that works. else is in chat? Not sure. Might be one of the people from earlier, or someone who's just been lurking this entire time. Show yourself. You don't need to show yourself if you don't want to. I didn't end up texting Hayden. Dang it. Okay. I'll text them after I stream. Dang, that went by quick. I took 2 minutes to sew around that entire eye? Of course. Couldn't all be sunshine and rainbows. Just had to nod up on me. Huh. Yeah. Joke's on you. I'm almost done. Thank you. Did I not pull all the way through on this one? Oh, buddy. Okay. I don't necessarily just want to cut it, because that will leave an open end. But also, I don't want to... How do I get rid of this thread? Squishy crow henchman. Yes, excellent. Okay, hopefully tying a knot here means that I can cut it? Hopefully? Let's reinforce these stitches a bit, and then hopefully I can cut this without the eye falling off. I didn't want to add more loops, I just wanted to... I'm winning. I'm winning so much. I'm winning so much. Okay, I think we're good to cut it. There we go. What a guy. Alright. We got 3 crows sewn. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. Really? Wait, hold on. Oh my gosh. Could I have fixed this lighting situation earlier by just attaching it to my... Hold on, let me reposition that. Maybe I'm getting mad for no reason. I think I just needed the light higher up, so then it wasn't so close to the camera washing it out. Yep, here would have been good. Understandable that Angry Boy's your favorite. Alright, note to self, next time I can just place the light on my chair and then I can have it further out so then it won't be so close to the camera. Wow. Alright. This has been quite the late stream. We made all the good crows. And I think we had a pretty good time. Alright. I am calling it a night. And I'm going to go to bed. So, I will see you guys next week for another sewing of the crows. And, yeah. Alright.